Okay, let's play a little experiment right now. Imagine you're holding a magnet in your hand and in front of you, you've got a pile of paper clips. Now, if you hold that magnet steady, calm and being centered, the clips are drawn to it easily, right? And they literally can't resist that because they can't resist the magnet. But now imagine shaking that magnet around desperately, running it back and forth, slamming it against the table, panicking because the clips aren't coming fast enough. You know what happens? That pull weakens and the chaos scatters everything. The attraction loses all its power. That's the difference between desperation and attraction. And so here's why I wanted to come on here and make this video. I've noticed this pattern not just in myself, but in literally everyone I speak to around me. When we want something, whether that's a relationship, money, success, whatever, there's always this weird waiting period, which I like to call the in-between period. And in that in-between, we usually fall into one of these two states. One is the energy of desperation, everyone's favorite, and two is the energy of attraction, which is what we want. And the funny thing is that sometimes desperation disguises itself as discipline. You think that you're being obsessed or you're driven, but deep down you're just vibrating from lack, which is going to repel everything that you ever want. And meanwhile, I've seen other people seamlessly go into pure attraction mode. They have the same goals, they probably have the same amount of effort, but their energy is completely different. Things just start aligning for them. You know people like this in your life. Opportunities fall into their lap. Synchronicities happen all the time and almost daily that it's wild. They don't themselves know why it's happening. So today we're breaking this down, and that's why I think such an important video to watch, whichever state of manifestation you are in your life, it's a very important video to watch. How do you know if you're operating from desperation or pure attraction? What does each of them feel like? And most importantly, how do you shift into attraction so your goals actually come to you faster? Let's start with the energy of desperation, because chances are everyone watching this has felt it sometime or the other. Desperation is when you're constantly checking your phone for a text, you're refreshing your email for that job offer, you're counting the days since you journal about your manifestation because you're scared it may not come. It's that restless, tight-chested energy of where is it? When is it going to come? Why hasn't it shown up yet? That's desperation. We all know desperation in some form or the other. Whether it comes to when we're chasing money, relationships, a lot of desperation does come into all of these aspects. It feels more like passionate and fiery, but not in a good way. It's very frantic, and you might even convince yourself that you're working hard for it. But really, you're just feeding your brain more and more evidence that you don't have it yet, which is going to create more of that. Now, let me give you a metaphor so you understand more. Imagine you're baking a cake, right? You've put all of the ingredients in, you know how to bake a cake, you've set the oven, and you know that it takes 30 to 40 minutes to bake. Attraction energy is letting that sit, maybe tidying up the kitchen a bit, knowing that the cake is going to rise and then you can eat it nicely. And desperation energy, that's opening the oven every 2 seconds, every 2 minutes, poking at it, panicking that it's not done yet. Will it get overcooked? Is it going to happen? And what happens when you do that? The cake doesn't rise well. You've ruined the whole experience. You've ruined your cake. That's what we do with our manifestations all the time. We think that we're helping by constantly checking in, by hustling harder, by doubting, by micromanaging everything, but we're actually killing the whole process and the thrill and even in fact the manifestation, because it may not come because you're just repelling it. And here's the science behind all of that. When you're in desperation, your nervous system is in fight or flight. Your cortisol is pumping like no other. And your subconscious doesn't register that as goal achieved. It only registers as goal missing, and eventually will be missing. And what do we know about the subconscious? If you watch my videos, you do know that it creates more of what you repeat. So if all you're doing is repeating the feeling of not having something, your brain, your body, your energy keep looping in that lack. Desperation basically locks you into the waiting room with probably no exit. It's like that scene in a movie when a character is waiting for someone at a cafe. They're glancing at the door every 5 seconds. Now this part sets the scene for whether the character is cool and composed or whether the character is desperate and clingy. This part sets the scene. They're checking their watch, they're getting anxious, they're spiraling. That energy, it pushes the scene into tension, and you can feel that they're desperate, and it just makes you as an audience uncomfortable or tells you more about their character and about the situation. But now imagine the same character sitting confidently, sipping their coffee, enjoying their book, fully in their own vibe, and they become the main character of their life because the movie is on them and not waiting for someone else to show up. When the person walks in, it feels effortless and magnetic, and that's attraction. That's what people in situation and opportunities are drawn to. But the thing is that sometimes I feel like it's not that easy. You might hear me say that just shift out of desperation and step into attraction. And while logically you know it sounds simple, right? But if your body has been wired since childhood to always live in survival mode, to always be waiting for the other shoe to drop, it's not that easy to just flip the switch and just like let go, truly. That's why I started giving myself little mantras and affirmations, you can say, almost like anchors to pull me back when my brain spirals, because like any human it does. And I want to share a few of them that have genuinely helped me become less desperate for anything when I feel like I'm sliding back into that desperate energy, because we're humans and we end up doing that eventually. The first affirmation is my absolute favorite. I always say this, is that if it comes to me, amazing. If it doesn't, then there's something even better waiting for me. And this one has been huge throughout my journey, because what it does is it releases the pressure valve. It takes away that obsession of a certain thing has to happen this way all the time, or like I failed in life. Instead, it opens up infinite paths, because we know there are, because truthfully, the universe has a million ways to deliver your desire to you. If you're locked into that one way, you're limiting yourself. That's all you're doing. Maybe you're trying to manifest $100,000 a certain way, but what if you're actually meant to receive more and by a completely different route that's going to basically change your whole life for the better? Why would you settle for just getting $100,000 this way? And then number 2 is I don't chase, I attract. What's mine finds me. Now this one is really popular on TikTok. I've seen so many reels on it. That's where I picked it up from as well. This one rewires your nervous system slowly. So instead of forcing or gripping, it reminds you that you're a magnet. You don't need to run yourself or burn out to prove you deserve something. You just need to align with it, and it just comes to you. Whatever is meant for you and whatever's for your better will just attach itself to you. And then number 3 is my timeline isn't the universe's timeline, and that's okay. Sometimes the frustration is all about timing. We want it now. But this mantra grounds you in a way and like puts you where you trust the universe, because you know that divine timing is the best timing. If you've ever gotten something too soon, before you were actually ready for it, you know how quickly it can slip through your fingers because you don't know how to handle it. Timing protects you as much as it delivers to you. So you need to trust divine timing, because truly they know, like the divine can see a bird's eye view from start to finish. Like there's a line and they know at what timeline you're supposed to get what you want, you know? And listen, the way that I'm speaking and the way I'm saying it right now might sound simple. And while it is very simple, it's not easy. Humans are naturally desperate. When we want something badly, we're naturally desperate for it. That's biology. But this is where the real practice and the real groundingness comes in. It's about retraining your brain to relax into attraction and to live your life fully, because that's what you should do. Live it fully in the present while still holding your vision for the future, while still holding your desire. When you finally do that, you stop clinging and you actually become magnetic, like effortlessly. I'm telling you, you'll feel like everything is just lining in the best way, like a puzzle, in the best way possible. Now, when we compare desperation to attraction, what is the difference? Attraction just feels lighter. It feels inevitable. It's like, yes, I want this and I know it's mine. Like, there is no need to be desperate. Even if it's not here yet, I walk and I talk and I move like it's already here or already on its way. When you order Amazon package and you know it's already on its way, you just start planning what you're going to do with the package, right? That's what you're going to do. Like if you ordered a TV, you know that it's on its way and you start planning what you're going to do with the TV, what you're going to watch, how you're going to have cozy nights in. That's what you do. You don't stress about where the TV is right now because you know it's being delivered to you. That's the same way. That's the same thing with life as well. Think about it. You order food on Uber Eats. You don't stress. You place your order, you go shower, you make time, you make space, you clean the table up because you know your food is going to come and you're going to sit and enjoy whatever you've ordered. That's attraction energy at its peak. And in that calm and steady state, your nervous system is regulated. You're in the parasympathetic mode. Your brain and body can actually see opportunities, recognize synchronicities, and attract more solutions in your life. And it's not passive because you're still working towards your goal, but the why behind the work is completely different, right? When you order things, you're still working on how to have fun with those things, but you're not attached at how it's gonna come. That's the difference. It's not that if I don't hustle, I'll lose out on everything. I'm already aligned and every step that I take is proof of that. And so you naturally even feel like working harder. That's the difference. Imagine if I'm doing something and I'm constantly hustling because I'm desperate and I need my situation to change. But if I flip that and I'm doing something because I know this is taking me to my goal, which is inevitable, I'll do that with more happiness. right? It's like when you're starting your content creation journey and you want to hustle and you're desperate for 1 million followers, even though we know this may take time. 1 million followers isn't that easy, especially when you're starting from scratch. But if you flip that and you go towards the goal and you know that every step, every video you upload is closer to the goal, which is inevitable. Regardless of the time, it's inevitable to you. You will work towards it and it'll be more fun. But the tricky part now is the line between them, because this is pretty much why I made the video, because I was thinking about this, that the line between desperation and attraction can actually look very thin and even feel very thin, because it's really similar on the outside. Two people can both be waking up at 5 a.m, journaling daily, hitting the gym, working late, but one is doing it with this frantic, clenched energy of lack, and the other one is doing it with ease, flow, and alignment. So they look the same, they even may feel the same to you. You may not know you're operating from desperation, but you truly are if you think about it. It's a very thin line, and the only way to know the difference is check how it feels in your body. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I trust that it's coming, or because I'm scared that if I don't do it, nothing will happen? Nothing will change because I'm scared. I'm doing it from this frequency of fear. And we all know that any lower frequency will only attract more of lower frequency situations in our life. Here's the thing about people who naturally live in attraction energy. They know that when to take time off. They don't hustle themselves into the ground because they understand something deeper, and that is, yes, you absolutely have to work towards your goal, but your mental health, your joy, and your current vibration matters just as much, if not more. They know that if they're constantly running on fumes and they're desperate for their current situation to change, they're pushing their manifestation further away. But if they can stay light and enjoy the process and trust the timing, then their energy works like a magnet and just pulls things in without force, which is what they do all the time. And here's my favorite way to just sit and check in with myself is sit down, grab a journal, and ask, am I desperate for my situation to change right now? Or am I at peace knowing that yes, this chapter is temporary, but better is on its way, and I'm still grateful for this temporary chapter that I'm living, even if I hate it. And this one question will force you to think and will tell you immediately if you're in desperation or attraction, if you're honest with yourself, because attraction feels steady. Even when life isn't perfect, it feels like I can still be grateful now, even as I work towards better situations in my life. Gratitude is my secret weapon anytime in life, because you cannot fully be desperate for something and grateful for it at the same time. Those are two vibrations that cannot exist together at the same time. Think of it like a movie scene. You're at rock bottom, everything is going wrong, but then the camera zooms in on this one small thing that you're still holding on to. Maybe it's your morning coffee, maybe it's a friend who checks in, and maybe it's your health, whatever it is. That tiny moment of gratitude, that's what shifts the entire scene. Suddenly it's not just tragedy, it's resilience. The character has resilience for continuing to be grateful and going even though they're at rock bottom. And the universe responds to that, because when you can somewhat be grateful even at your lowest, that's when you're showing that you passed the test, and that's when things start to turn around for you. And I know you might be listening right now and thinking, but Krishi, my life truly sucks right now. How can I not be desperate? Things are at rock bottom. What am I supposed to be grateful for? And I get that. Everyone's been there. But the hard truth is that this is the exact moment your practice matters the most. This is the exact moment you can take gratitude and change your whole vibration around you. Because anyone can be grateful when life is perfect. That's the easiest things. But the ones who choose gratitude in the storm, they're the ones that the universe rewards with miracles, and I've seen that myself. Another funny thing that I've heard people say a lot, or I've said a lot in my life, is that I hear people say that the moment that they give up, the thing comes. The moment they stop obsessing about something, it suddenly comes and shows up in front of them. Like you're working so hard, you're obsessing, you're holding on so tight, and then you just hit a wall, you're exhausted. You don't even let go intentionally, you just let go because you're tired of caring. You're like, I don't care. And then the next day or the day after, it just shows up and you're like, what? How did that happen? When I was so desperate for it to happen, it never did, but I gave up and I let go and it did. Which is the same concept I've been talking about, because energetically, everything in the universe operates in balance. A plus and a minus effect. The tighter you grip, the more you're actually pushing things away, and that's resistance. But the second you give up, you unknowingly cut that cord of resistance. You stop strangling the outcome with your energy, and in that exact moment, the path clears up for you and it flows to you. It's like your hand was clenched and tight and tense, and then suddenly you're like, I don't care, I don't give up, and boom, it falls in your hand. That's what happens. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't really need to reach that burnout state to give up. You don't have to wait until you're exhausted to finally release the control. There is a smarter way to do it and have fun with it, is act from inevitability. If it is already yours, how would you move? How would you dress? How would you talk? How would you show up in your daily life? That's attraction energy. You're no longer asking when is it coming. You're just playing pretend and you're being delusional. You're like, okay, of course it's mine. It's inevitable. It's coming. And while it isn't here, I'm still gonna have fun with whatever situation I'm in now. And desperation is then when you keep looking for proof of absence. You keep refreshing, you're checking, you're spiraling, you're constantly thinking of it not being here. That's desperation. And attraction is when you keep reinforcing proof of inevitability. You just know that it's on your way. I made this video because I just really wanted to put my thoughts out there on this thin line that I was thinking about there is, and I see it between people who are desperate and people who are attracting. I know now I'm better at judging which type of category a person falls into or which type of category I'm falling into, because it can vary in different situations. And if you're in that desperate energy right now, I know it's not easy. It's actually really hard to calm your nervous system when all you want is change. But this is where practices come in. Affirmations, gratitude, shifting your focus to what is working, telling yourself that it's coming, it's inevitable. And the good part is that the more you practice attraction, the easier it gets down the line. Because once you experience the first manifestation coming through, even if it's small, it's like a ripple effect. Your belief system grows and your trust builds. That's when you can truly be like, I know it's coming. I just know it. Think of it like a relationship. You build trust with the universe the same way you'd build trust with a partner. It's the same thing. In the start of a relationship, you don't have that much trust. But as the relationship moves forward and things are going well, you keep getting your manifestations, your trust builds. And it doesn't happen all at once. It comes with consistency, with time, and with showing up. So start small. Manifest something that you know can come, like a parking spot, a message, a coffee. Build that muscle of trust. And then you can go bigger and truly be more relaxed about it, because when you move from desperation to attraction, life will feel lighter and it actually starts flowing in your favor, effortlessly. So I hope this helped you. I hope it can give you some clarity, and I hope you take this as a little sign today to relax into attraction. Until next time, I'll see you and love you.